You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Gene. Johnson.
The AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV's Eat, Drink, Love After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Eat, Drink, Love After Show.
Bitches love cake.
Ooh, good one. Good one. Yes.
Hey, Bing is for doing, and thank you for joining us for the Eat, Drink, Love AFTERBUZZ TV After Show. This is episode 2, season 1. Hanging out with the big boys. I'm Jake DuPree, along with my beautiful co-host.
Thank you, Jake. Love it when you say that to me every Sunday. I'm Fahnia Thomas.
I'm Kristina Zias. And I'm Cassidy, Gard.
And in studio with us now, we have the boss, and we have the publicist, Miss Jessica Miller, and Brenda Urban. Give it up.
Oh, yeah.
Let me just say, this has been one of the most surreal moments watching the show with them and getting the inside gossip. We got a lot. Hopefully we can share that too with y'all. All right, so let's just get started with the episode. We see my neighbor, Miss Nina Clemente. I know her as the girl from the front porch. You might know her from the show. Jealous. She's meeting up with her manager because her manager got her a spot in LA Food and Wine, which we find out is the it in food and wine in LA. So can you tell us about that? Because Brenda, you represent that, right?
Yeah. So LA Food and Wine, there's a few festivals in LA that really kind of make their mark, or I should say in the country. And in LA, it's LA Food and Wine, hands down. So chefs from all over the country come to town to basically show what they can do. So if you're anyone in the food industry, this is the festival you want to be part of.
Cool.
How do you feel about a non-restaurateur having a booth at this event?
I think props, like, if you can pull it off, I mean, you're standing next to people like, you know, Giada, who are doing, like, you know, amazing presentations, and if you can stand there next to them with the, you know, and show your food, not even, you know, recipes that may be in your restaurant, but, like, literally that's her food that she, you know, comes up with. I think it's awesome.
What did you guys think of the plate? If you guys both tasted it?
I didn't get to taste Nina's plate because I was so busy working that day, but it really is, like Brenda just said, it's the Super Bowl of the food out here. And for us, I mean, think about it. It's like, oh, remember back in the day when Troy Aikman's play? Like, that's like what we talk about, like the chefs. Like, remember when Nina did this or this year? And that's how, especially with the restaurants, like we think about it. I still remember like some favorite dishes.
What is the process like for people applying for a spot?
You can't really apply. Like, it's, you know, you have to know the person. I'm sure her manager made a call too. You saw Dave Burnell as the he basically the
founder
and the brains behind the whole show.
Most people
event.
are asked.
So, yeah,
it's like invite only, really.
So I'm sure her manager, you know, lucky for her, pulled some strings. But
That's
that
amazing.
was like,
So you mean if you're covered by Eater LA, it's not a guarantee spot in?
No.
Do you think it helped that they knew that she was a chef and that Bravo was going to be covering the event?
No. I mean, I don't.
No,
I think it almost is detrimental because the food world, especially in LA, like, people are so picky, and when you hear reality shows, it's almost like a scary thing.
Sword.
Yeah.
Really?
So it's even more of like, prove yourself so you're not just the girl that did a reality show and is trying to be a chef. It's almost like, why should they put you in Food and Wine? I think that's probably how she's feeling.
And she's also had success outside of the reality show and outside of LA Food and Wine. So, I mean,
well, that's why all the girls, I mean, they're great at their jobs, and that's why.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to lie. There was probably a spot open last minute that her, you know, manager was probably able to get her in because, like Jess said, you have to be invited. So it's not that they were like, oh, we want one private chef to come. Who can we pick? Like, I'm sure there was circumstances, but it was a big honor, I'm sure, for her because it doesn't happen every day.
Well, let me play devil's advocate since we're talking about Nina, and you just said there's probably a spot that was open and she got it. On your blog, you mentioned that she got where she is because of who she knows, not so much about her talent.
And I I just reiterated that. I'm sure her manager knew someone to call that got her in.
Okay.
I don't think that is necessarily a bad thing. I think that is an extremely helpful thing too.
As a publicist, it's all who I know.
Exactly.
Her manager's doing her job.
Yeah.
But on a personal level, do you think she's a good chef, and do you think she'll be able to make it from being a private chef into what did you a private, high-profile restaurant?
Let's just say I have my doubts at this point.
Okay.
Do you know her manager?
No.
Okay.
No.
Would you be her publicist?
Would I be Nina's publicist? Yeah, I would.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's a badass.
Okay.
I like her.
Seed planted.
Watching.
Would Nina hire you?
And then next, of course, and next up we find Brenda and Jess meeting up, having lunch, talking business. And I like that, Jess, that you're upfront and you say that Brenda gives it to you straight. Like she gives you personal advice, she gives you business advice. What is that like being friends with her?
You know what, and it's true. That's why we're so close, and I think you'll see throughout the season, or if you haven't seen already from episodes 1 and 2, I'm kind of no nonsense, and I like to address drama head on, or if there's an issue, I like to confront it immediately. But I usually think of that in like business terms. So having someone be my friend who gets that is really great, because she really can say something and my feelings won't get hurt, because I know she's saying it for the betterment of, the situation, and we can be honest with each other, and that's why I think we get along so well.
Yeah, and I want to clarify something that I said in that scene, because I say like, oh, I'm so tired of bloggers and you really need print. And especially in LA, everything's online in terms of like food coverage. So I certainly don't mean all bloggers, and I don't want to like, oh, I'm so tired of bloggers. I mean, as a publicist, that's my job too, is to screen who are legitimate bloggers, who literally have a blog spot with 50 people that, their cousins that read it every month, and we get all scopes of those bloggers, and it is a little exhausting making those distinctions of, okay, who can we allow to review a restaurant and who just wants a free meal.
I thought you were just talking about Kat, just to be honest.
Me too.
No. Let's just say I was referring to very specific bloggers.
But going back to that scene, she was absolutely right at that time, because with Fuku, with that brand, at that time, we had only really hit the local immediate bloggers.
Everyone in LA knows Fuku. It was like, and maybe Vegas, so it's like getting it out there.
And
bigger.
my job is to not, the buzz of whatever's going on with Fuku is great, but I have to figure out how to monetize that from within the restaurant. And the bloggers at the time, where we had just kind of plateaued, that's not why we, get the word out to those bloggers. So she was right, I thought.
I think that's really interesting. I think that's one of the most interesting parts about the show, is seeing the behind the scenes, because most of the people that watch Bravo probably aren't necessarily looking at food and things like that, except for Top Chef. Like, that's a big thing for Bravo. Right. And I think it's really cool to see the behind the scenes of what goes into really making a restaurant and making it like a legitimate place in Los Angeles, because it's such a huge food capital, which we see in the first episode. They make that a very apparent thing. I like that. So, of course, we move on to Miss Waylynn, and I'm seriously obsessed with her and her mermaid hair. I'm like, I just want to touch you and like love you. I think she's fabulous. And
she looks like a Botticelli painting.
I like that she's so pretty, and she says the F word a lot. Yeah. Anybody that says the F word a lot, I'm like, I like you a lot.
And they're pretty.
Yeah.
Not so much the ugly people.
Yeah. But if you say the F word, I'm like, I like you, no matter what. But Fonuts has been open for a year, and it's so cool seeing that she literally put her life savings into this business, and banked on something that could possibly go extremely wrong. And I don't know, it was just really cool seeing that, and I'm glad that Bravo shows people that are actually doing things with their lives. That's my shade little bit. That's my little shady boots right there. And then of course Miss Kat comes to do an interview with Waylynn, and we'll get into this in a little bit with little unprofessionalism. We'll just say that. And I love that Kat says that she discovered Waylynn in a roundabout way.
Oh, sweet baby Jesus. Okay, there needs to be some thank you cards going out. Waylynn needs to send one to Kat.
Yes.
Kat needs to send one to Brenda, apparently. And that 25-year-old chef needs to send one to Kat as well.
Nina, in 2 years, needs to send it to her.
I mean, you can't take credit for everything.
What do you guys think about that?
To me, it left me speechless. I've known Waylynn probably just as long as Kat, and she worked at the Bazaar, and she is an award-winning pastry chef. And the fact that Kat's like, oh, I discovered her, and it's like, Well, thank God. Thank God you discovered her, or else she'd be in the back kitchen somewhere. Yeah.
I mean, but she's a blogger, so at the same token, it's as if she makes it sound like she's, some magazine. And do you think that
it's not?
But that's an interesting point, because Nina self-proclaimed got discovered in Vanity Fair, so there is opportunities for chef to be discovered in the media.
Right.
That's just not the case with Waylynn.
Okay.
But on the flip side, if you think about it, regardless of what you think about Kat's job, or like if she's a journalist or versus a blogger, this or that, Eater gets some of the most hits, web hits, on food sites out there. So regardless of if people like it or don't like it, they're getting the clicks. Right. People are going to Eater.
And also blogging is, I think that is, it's almost more prevalent than journalism, I think, right now, a little bit.
That's what I'm saying. Everything in LA is online right now.
As someone that graduated from the best journalism school in the country, I will disagree. But
that's where the line is, because if you're going to be in the New York Times and you're going to be quoting people, you're going to go through a quarter and you're going to get it exactly as it was said. Yeah. If you're a blogger, this is where the line is that I'm seeing a big difference, because apparently
but don't put all bloggers in.
No. When we say blogger, we're talking Kat. What other bloggers are there that's on this show?
Let's stop standing around.
I love bloggers, but something like this where you're misquoted and these things are happening, and it's like, well, I thought I got most of the notes correct. It's like,
well, that's why there's a lot of backlash in LA right now.
I disagree. My first job was a journalist out of college for a small Missouri affiliate, which I loved. And as a journalist or a blogger or whatever, you make mistakes. Like, there are things that she will flub. There are things that that you do. You make mistakes. The only thing you can do is try to immediately fix that mistake, is to acknowledge it and say, listen, it's our policy to fix it. What do I, and I think that Waylynn should have said, listen, it's, in my opinion, it's too late, but yeah, we need to fix it. And the fact she was like, it's beyond fixing, it doesn't even matter if you fix it or not, is the wrong attitude to have. Like, if Kat, she made a mistake, she's going to make mistakes. I don't care what your job is, If you can address it and say, let me fix it, that's a commendable thing to do. And it's not from her, it's from Eater. We have to realize it's not because Kat's a nice friend, it's because she'll get fired if she doesn't do it. But, I think it's really important that Eater says, we will fix this immediately if one of our bloggers does something like this.
Do you know if it was fixed?
I don't think it was.
I was under the impression it wasn't fixed, but I'm not sure. I guess we'd have to check. I don't know.
From every failure, there's an opportunity to be learned, right? The lesson here is Kat needs to take a tape recorder with her when she does her interviews.
And also, you're saying that if someone makes a mistake, they go in and they're humble and they apologize and they do whatever they can. I did not see that with Kat. She did not seem to have.
She was insulted.
Yeah.
She said it.
What bothers me more than any of this, because I agree someone can make a mistake, is that she said she discovered her, but then she went to criticize her for opening up a Fonuts shop because she was supposed to open up a highly regarded pastry shop.
Yeah. Did she cover her when she was at the bazaar, or is that what she's talking about?
Well, she said she had a good relationship at the bazaar because they rolled the red carpet out for her whenever she goes to visit.
That's not because of Waylynn.
No. But maybe that's what she was talking about. I'm not totally sure what she meant by discover her.
I'm not sure by a lot of things.
I meant that she.
Maybe she was the first blogger to write about Waylynn.
That has
You never know.
It.
You never know. It could be something. We'll play the devil's advocate right there. But we see Miss Jessica at Fuku Burger, and she is holding court. And I like this because I like what you said, because you said that you were this girl from the Midwest who is like people consider coming off the farm or whatever, and you were really doing it for yourself. And I appreciate this because I'm from an extremely small town. It's like, you make your way out of it and you try to better yourself, and I think that's really cool that they're showing that.
Well, and I wouldn't say better myself because I love Missouri. I love Chesterfield. I love it there. I don't think I'm better than Missouri. I literally love going back. I'm going back in October. So
I mean, like station in life.
Yes. I think what I'd like to clarify, since they show, that's me. That is exactly how I am. But what they don't show, and this industry, especially in LA, there are a lot of men, but especially once you like go behind the glitz and the glam into the kitchen, like Nina says, it's like a locker room. It is. It's like a tackle football game and a babysitting job. Like if you go back there, I've had chefs who are drinking like whiskey on the job, who fall asleep, who literally are sleeping at the restaurant and you don't know until you check the camera. Like these guys, this food industry is like a potty mouth, like dirt, you know, it's really, really bad. Not bad, but like it's
a boys club.
It's boys club. So, you know, I started out in the industry as being the like polite, I don't want to touch on somebody's ego, like they'll get the wrong impression of you, and I never want a guy that I work with, a man, whether he's a chef or, you know, an operator or a publicist or a chef, whatever it is, I never want them to feel like it's okay to ask me out. I always want them to feel fear.
Kind of scared,
that they would never, like, they can never cross that line. And I do that with everyone on my team. Because if you don't, they walk all over you. You know, they keep bringing the whiskey bottles to work. They keep, you know, saying it's okay to do some things. And once you put those disciplinary actions into place, they realize, oh, no. You know, and it's, you know, they want a paycheck, so do I. If we make the restaurant better, then they get a raise. That's all I want.
So you don't think you can be a friend and a boss?
I think it's dangerous to be a friend and a boss.
Okay.
Yeah, I typically do not, and that's what's, you know, difficult is because, you know, I don't have many girlfriends. Brenda, I always tell Brenda, she's like one of my only girlfriends. But it's hard because I don't mix my personal life with business, but I don't have a personal life because my life is my business. So it's been a weird thing to kind of self-realize once you watch the show, like, oh wow, people hate me, but I'm really not mean. Like I just want the restaurants to do really well.
I don't think I would consider it hate. I think it's more of like respect, you know, because I think you demand it in a certain way.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With like a whip or something.
This goes back to the whole thing. If a man's tough, then he's tough, and if a woman's tough, then she's a bitch.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's the question I wanted to ask the two of you. That I was going to ask this later, but I asked them last week. I said, what about, I like that this is showing women in like a power position because I think it's important that it shows that.
I'm glad you think so, Jake, because you know what? Not a lot of people do.
And you made this quote at the end of the episode that you said that it's like a male-run business, run industry, and women, it's like a small community and you're like a little clique together because you kind of all know each other, and there can be like cattiness. And what do you think about women being catty to other women within like a small industry?
Let's be honest, women aren't going to always get along. Like, it's just the way it is, you know? And I feel like I'm a straight shooter, and I just, you know, there's going to be personalities you don't like, and I'm not going to fake it either.
Yeah.
If I don't like you, I'm going to tell you to your face, you know? That's just the way I am.
How do you all know each other?
A lot through just like being, you know,
for real, being in the industry.
Yeah.
Like, I've known of, like, Waylynn forever, just from watching Food Network and seeing the work that she's done. Kat and I have a ton of mutual friends, same with Brenda and I, so we kind of run in the same circles anyways.
Yeah, I worked with Kat, you know, since starting out in LA in journalism, or on the PR side, and then Waylynn, I would go into her donut shop. Shocker there. Trying to think. Nina, I met through Kat. Yeah.
So none of you were all like friends. You were all more of like acquaintances.
Strangely enough,
and
the person I knew the best was Kat.
Me too. I've been friends with Kat forever.
She's probably like the connector. We probably all met each other.
It just got real.
Yeah.
It just got real.
Yeah. It's
interesting.
True. Yeah, but I think anytime you put, especially with the five of us, you know, we're type A personalities, obviously, because we are, and you know, we've done pretty well for ourselves throughout the industry. When you put those women together, which, you know, there aren't too many of us in that circle, so we want to cling to each other, so we have that support of girlfriends, but we also realize that we're very similar with that, like, type A, very headstrong type of thing. Of course you're going to butt heads sometimes, but you also are going to realize that, you know, they're the best people to have your back when you need somebody to have your back.
Exactly.
How did it happen for you guys to get discovered and go through the process of being in talks?
Really different for the two of us. I didn't hear about it until they were all signed and good to go.
Yeah, because I'm friends with Kat. I don't know why I have to smile when I say that. She told me that she wanted to do the show on Bravo, and so I met with producers. She set up a meeting, and through that meeting, I was like, no, I don't want to be on TV. And they're like, just do a casting tape. did the casting tape. It was just basically what you see is me having dinner with Kat and drinks, and all of a sudden, 2 weeks later, I get a call. I was like, oh yeah, you're gonna be on Bravo, and I was like, what? Yeah.
So your casting tape was a meal with Kat.
With Kat, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And then which is
what I would do anyway. So it was like for me, I didn't think anything was going to come up. I was like, okay. I actually took her to my client, Public Kitchen and Bar at the Roosevelt, and I was like, let's have dinner. And there was cameras there, which I thought was a little weird, but like, it was like a normal, like, this is their new menu. Like, it was like me working, and then all of a sudden they're like, and we start shooting for Bravo.
That's wild.
How about you?
Yeah, they wrapped everything up, and I guess people were all signed on, and then I had actually set up, they were going to shoot a scene for their show at one of my restaurants. And so I was coordinating, and I was really like, I hate cameras in the restaurants because I never want people to feel like, once you break, it's with music and ambiance, like if cameras are there, it tends to like break people up, and they don't spend as much money as they normally would. So they're like looking at the camera. So I hate having cameras in the restaurant. So I'm like, okay, if we're going to do the shoot, we're going to do it this way. And I'm like, they come in and they're like, who are you? And I'm like, shh, go in the corner. Like, make it like this. And they're like, okay, we're going to need you to meet with us afterwards. And then it was just like, I was like, no, thank you. And my boss was like, no, you're going to do that. So make it happen. And I was like,
all right. Say yes. If Bravo comes calling, you better answer the door. All right. And of course, we see Miss Brenda meet up with Chris Crary, who is so cute. And he's from Top Chef Texas, right?
Season 9. I met Chris Crary because one of my clients is Edward Lee, who was on his episode, on his season with him.
Yes.
we love him.
Yeah. So Edward was in town doing like a press junket or something for one of his projects, and we all went out to dinner, and that's the first time I met Chris. So that was like, I don't know, years ago, and then Chris and I just became friends.
Friends.
It was just so cute because you could see it was like bedroom eyes, and like the legs like turned toward him. It was just like every telltale sign. It was a lot of flirting, and I don't blame you. At all. I do think that maybe this needs to go.
That's what I said.
A little soul patch.
Oh yeah, I don't know about that.
That's a flavor saver.
But I feel like I'm gonna get a little like stuff on Twitter from people because I give Kat a hard time for flirting with people in the industry, but yet I'm doing it with Chris. But he's my friend. Like, I'm not working with him. Like, I joke with him. I'm like, you need a publicist, but he's my friend. So, like, I think what I'm doing is way different than trying to get a scoop out of him. Like, I don't want anything from him. So, well.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Let's keep it real.
Professionally, yeah.
What did you think when he asked you about Kat?
Oh, it's typical. And, like, it's not. Some people on this panel mentioned that I was a little jealous of Kat last week, and it's not jealousy. Yeah, and it's not jealousy, and it's not competition, which someone pointed out. I think it was you. That I was like, it was like, clearly there's no competition between the two of you. But honestly, it's not jealousy and it's not competition. It's just when you're around someone who's that boy crazy all the time. I mean, even in some of those scenes in the first episode when I'm trying to pitch her on, oh, this is the menu item, or oh, this is the cocktail you need to try, and she's like, let me tell you about the boy I was just seeing.
The married man.
Yeah, like
that's allegedly. Right?
A legend, yeah.
I think but like it's just frustrating, even at LA Food and Wine, I'm there to see her hang out, and she had not one but like 2 guys on her, and it's like, oh, can't we just hang out? Like, here we go again. Like, okay.
So you just want some girl time with her, one-on-one.
Yeah, and if I do like a boy, like, let me like the boy. I said that in the first episode. It's always like Kat's like, oh, well, I had a thing with him, and it's like, well, that means I can't like him.
I've seen in a group, and like my group of friends, there's one girl, and literally if one of my other girlfriends says she likes someone, this girl goes after that guy and makes him like her.
Oh, I hate that.
Well, do you find that with her a little bit with Kat?
Well, it's like every guy.
She just seems to cast a net and to like stake claims on everyone and be like, okay, I've got my claim on him, and him, so hands off. But I feel like you guys really aren't that close of a friend to where you can go ahead and mack it to some guy that she supposedly has a claim on.
I think we have very different tastes, honestly. Like, I think
Chris is cute.
You last, but with the exception of Chris, but you last week were like, oh, there's no competition. It's like, it's not. I'm older than her. I go for like the suit-wearing professional businessman, and she goes, I always play this joke. We always play this game called, hipster or homeless, because with Kat, you never know. Like, is the guy a hipster or is he homeless? Like,
I love that game.
No, she plays with me. Like, she'll be the first to admit, like, the scruffy and like,
What did you agree on, the pripster?
Pripster, yeah, that's another Catadellism, yeah, like where she's like
the preppy hipster.
Yeah, so they're not as dirty. They're like
they like shower.
But she's like a good test to see if the guy will go for it or not. If he's like a guy that can like look through all of her charms as if she's just trying to like get something, because I feel like some guys look right past it. They're like, I know you want something from me. The right guy, I think, would just kind of not give it the time of day.
I mean, she doesn't do it to piss us off. She doesn't do it to like make it her thing. I think she really does want to find a guy, and none of it works out, so she just keeps, trying to date another one, like
her Rolodex.
It's like, what is she supposed to do?
Who doesn't though? I mean, everyone wants to find someone.
I mean, she wants to find someone. I think she just. She works a lot, and like she said, I don't think she even knows what the difference between work and play is for her, because she is in that world where her work is her fun.
And you'll see in future episodes too. Like I think because I'm the oldest of the ladies. I know it's shocking.
So you're the wisest?
I'm the wisest. No, but it's like I think like you'll see that my feelings for her don't come from a bad place. I want her to find someone. Sure. I just think she's making poor decisions.
I mean, this is where the line is blurred for me a little bit. Is she trying to actually meet guys, or is she doing them is she trying to like woo them over for scoop?
Well, that's, I think, what she may struggle with.
Yeah. That's the big mystery.
See, I feel like...
And it's also, is it editing though? Because it seems like everything she's doing is flirting. Is that the real her?
That's the real her.
No, and but the thing is,
I like to know.
That's a good point, because I saw something on a blog or something about this where it says, well, what if she meets with a female chef? Like, is that the same?
I read that article
right.
too,
I said that last week. And I said, you know what? She is exactly the same, and she doesn't even see it as like that's her flirty voice. Like, to me, if she meets with like you, hi, how are you? Like, that's her.
Right, but I don't think that if she met with a female chef, I don't even know what female chef she was with.
I'm not calling her like bisexual.
Well, no, but I mean, you saw her with Waylynn. Waylynn, she's like,
Oh, that's true.
Yeah,
but I think,
yep, taking notes. Okay,
and
great.
then with Nina, she didn't have anything nice to say.
Yeah, with Nina, she wasn't very nice about her food. But then with the chef, she's like,
well, see, I think she goes into Waylynn, selling out of Fonuts, I see.
And then she says to her face, we thought you were going to open something high-end, and then you opened Fonuts.
She had an attitude with the ladies. I think she had such an attitude with the ladies. And then
that's
the guys.
I mean, from what I've seen, maybe just because her and I have a different dynamic of a relationship than she has with the other girls, but she, with me, is very, like, just the way she is with, like, Chris Crary. Like, the same exact way.
Right, but she's not working with you.
Right.
She's friends with you.
Yeah.
Like, working-wise with Waylynn or with Nina, she's not the same way at all.
Yeah. Well, I first met her because I called her and said, come into Harry's restaurant.
Do you think she's trying to infiltrate Harry Morton's group of guy friends?
No. Oh my God! My face just turned red.
When you first joined us for the show, I remember she said she had a thing with Harry Morton.
Stop it.
I see that group out and about all the time.
Just
we all
keeping it
go
real,
out
folks.
in LA.
I don't want to get sued, so I'm not going to say anything about that.
I had a thing. But that's the problem. It's like, what is a thing? Like, what, you had an interview with him?
Define thing.
But that's her, like, putting her little...
She's just trying to claim her territory.
Yeah,
no, she's like a dog pissing on all the boys.
Well, it's not coincidence her name is Kat.
Ooh, shade.
She's in heat.
All right.
She went there.
Now I want to move into like a little bit of a really sentimental, beautiful part of the episode, and that was whenever Waylynn met with Michelle and Nancy for the anniversary little drinks and dinner at
Can we give
Tar and
Nancy a
Roses.
moment of silence for not getting credit for the Fonuts situation? Like, she was really upset with Kat misquoting her. So Nancy, this is your time. Shout out to you. You came up with Fonuts. And we love you.
One of my favorite things about seeing workplace anywhere, just being like anywhere workplace, is seeing people's dynamic and relationships. And I think this is you really see how the three of them interact. And I think it's so cool. And the fact that Nancy gave her the little key ring from Tiffany's and had the date they opened, I just thought it was really cool. And I'm so happy for them, because that's really cool. Anybody trying to put their vision and their dream out there and really making it happen. I'm just completely supportive of that.
I mean, we all shed a tear during that moment. So
it was beautiful.
It was
great.
And I love how she said that she wishes she could find a man to have this type of partnership with, because that's what's really so beautiful to see, is someone who really truly believes in you and will embark on this journey and this adventure I mean, it was.
And as your business partner, I mean, because a lot of things in work and friends, they don't necessarily work out a lot of times.
It was like they were renewing vows in the most like beautiful, authentic, intimate way. And like you see something like that, and so many relationships don't even have that sort of like camaraderie or teamwork that goes into creating something that's lasting. So I really like Nancy a lot.
Women supporting women. What a concept. It's like a whole new concept. Let's just talk about that for a second.
Do you guys like Nancy?
She's actually really smart, too. And I'm almost glad it went down with Kat the way that it did, because it gives Nancy even more notoriety for creating the term Fonuts, and we really get that attributed to her through the story of.
So cool.
And I just liked seeing Waylynn, like the softer side of Waylynn, because you hear her curse a lot, like you see her tattoos, and like, you know, it was sweet. It was a nice moment.
I thought Nancy was cute because she's just really like, he's the chef, you know, that's trying to go for Waylynn, and she's like, he seems to have a really warm, nice side, you know.
That was my favorite. She's like, there's a warmth about him. That was my favorite part. Yeah, because she is actually a really good judge of character.
Yeah. Andy Kirshner, he's really. I thought he was kind of cute. I was like, all right, tattoos. Let's go.
He was easy on the eyes.
Send Kat in to see if he falls for it or not.
Do you know if she put a tack in him yet?
I don't think she claimed him.
Okay. Yeah.
She might have discovered him, but she didn't claim him.
Okay, so then of course we get to the LA Food and Wine event.
Woo, the Oscars.
It's at LA Live, right? Which is by the Staples Center, and for those of you that don't live in Los Angeles, and we're all talking like, oh, this is where it is, you know.
Well,
we got your back. Yeah. So Jess is organizing Fuku, and Nina is like all over getting her little people in order with her. How do you? I can't pronounce the way she says her dish.
Prosciutto.
And it's with a melon. It's with a melon, though. And she was having issues with it because she said it was tasted kind of like cardboard. And she wanted to make a sorbet out of it, which I thought was really cool that she, you know, tried to turn it around for it.
Yeah.
Oh, that was make it work moment.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we see the two of them busting their ass, and then we see Kat getting her makeup done.
Because, you know, those pictures are going to live online forever.
That was the line that we have to address, because something about that, it just kind of irked me. It rubbed me the wrong way a little bit.
But she is there doing business,
and
everyone there in the food industry in LA is going to be there. So obviously you'd want to look good too. If any of us are going to work, we want to look good.
Well, I was just going to say, like, from what she said, these pictures of forever and this or that, and I'm looking at myself when we just watched the episode thinking, oh my God, she's right. This is on TV forever. My hair is all to here. I had no makeup on. I had boob sweat coming out of, like, it was not okay. I'm like,
girl, you had the air conditioned tunnel, and that's all that matters.
That was brilliant.
There is something very right when she's like, this or that, but I mean, for me, it's obviously different because I am back in the kitchen. She's
going there to schmooze.
Right.
But is that where they have, a lot of events have like a complimentary booth where you can get your makeup touch up? Is that something?
No.
So she brought in a makeup artist.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. She's on a reality show. If she looked ratchet, we'd be like, oh my God, did you see her hair?
Why would she go there?
No, but look at the real moment of her just sweating, working with the guys.
She didn't look bad, though.
It's true. Yeah, it's embarrassing. It did.
In Kat's defense in this way, like, it is her job to schmooze and say hello to every. Do you know how many media, like national media people are at this event? Like, if she, you know, it is her job to schmooze. She's not in the kitchens. Like, we're all running around like animals. It was 110 degrees that day, and she's
in
like
the kitchen. Giada, she had full hair and makeup. Giada, she was looking good. Like, okay, like these top chefs.
She wasn't flipping burgers back in the tent somewhere.
You know what I'm saying? Like, these top chefs had their hair and makeup. I mean, that's the, you know, a lot of people get criticism for it. Now, what was it necessary for the whole team to be there with the thing? I don't know.
Wait, sometimes it takes a village. Sometimes it might take a village to beat somebody's face.
But this year I'm going to see if she can share, because it would have been great if I could just pop in that chair and say, like, fix this for a second.
Well, I think the interesting point is that as a journalist, everyone wants to look good, right? You're going to be around in front of the camera, but she goes on to say, like, these images live on forever.
It's about her.
But that's where the line is. As a journalist, when I interview people, you're promoting them, but that's where the line is of, does she want to be the one being promoted in the spotlight?
Well, we keep referring to her, I mean, as like the journalist of the show, and I'm seeing all the tweets like, oh, I can't support this and this and this. You know, she's not claiming to be the like Walter Williams, you know what I'm saying?
The
like,
New York Times or anything. She's not
kind of is, though. I mean, she's claiming to have discovered
make people's careers.
But you're saying she's
like
not
agents discover people. I mean, I'm just saying, like, if we're going to attack her for her journalistic standards, let's make sure she's claiming that she is like a legit journalist. She says that she's a writer, a blogger for, you know, Eater LA.
She makes and breaks restaurants.
Now, does that mean, I mean, is she saying that she's completely, like, unbiased and she only covers people she doesn't know. No. Right?
I don't know, Brenda, what do you think?
She's giving us silence.
She claims that she makes and breaks restaurants. She claims that she discovers people. Thank God, because...
Yeah, but that's not, she doesn't, I'm not unbiased. And because then if that was true and she was saying, I'm like a journalist of food, then she would say like, I know that person. There could be some controversy if I cover their restaurant because I know them personally.
That's all she does.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that would the journalistic thing for her to claim unbiased. Like I don't think she does that. She says no. I work for Eater. Like our job is to get the scoop. I go. I get the scoop. I don't think she's saying I do it without any bias or without.
Okay. No, I agree with that.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair enough.
Can we take a U-turn and go back to you in this air conditioned unit? Like the heat is real.
I gotta tell you, and somebody was like, "Why get your butt to work? Like you're not doing anything, and your team is busting this or that." Listen, lady, I was there since 9 a.m. The team shows up at 4 p.m. like to do a 5 p.m. deal. I had been there all freaking day. I had 3 outfits that I had sweated through. My hair looked like I had just taken a shower, but it wasn't because it was sweat. Like I found that air conditioning unit. I'm not kidding when I say it was like the Narnia of like. And it was a secret. Nobody knew. I swear. Like it was so
VIP
funny.
Tent.
I wish that someone would have walked in. Was there anyone in the tent with you?
No, it was so weird. Like I needed just a space because I was kind of stressed, because there's all this stuff going on.
These guys drinking on the job.
And it really is like a my job, let alone, and you can always tell because my voice was so hoarse back then because I wasn't sleeping because I was so worried about LA Food and it just under a lot of pressure. So I needed, even from camera, like I just needed a break, like a minute to compose myself and be like, get it together and then go back out there. And I went in there and it was like, It's like,
Is that because your Pikachu was over the air condition? Is that when you made that noise?
You gave yourself a little wind. The wind, the Holy Spirit.
That felt good going up, but the best was when I went down because, you're saying your head is where, like, if that's hot. So I could really fit my whole body into that little thing. And I literally was almost all the way in, and I heard someone saying, like, are you okay? And I'm thinking, okay, I do have a dress on. This is inappropriate. I should probably get out.
Are you guys able to sneak off and try all the other food that's there?
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely like work play. Our job doesn't suck. We can definitely, like I said. Once I did the red carpet it's just crazy because what happens with the red carpet is chefs show up that don't tell you they're going to show up, so then you don't have slates. So slates are basically the name you hold up. So photographers take a picture of the slate, they know who's walking, and then they walk. Right. So people would show up that you don't have slates for, and then everyone you made slates for don't show up. So then you're like writing people's names on the thing, and it becomes like total chaos. So once that is over,
you get to play.
Yeah, I'm like, where is the wine?
I like seeing that Chef Greenspan came and visited Nina and really liked her food. I mean, that's what he said.
What a sweetheart.
Yeah, that was
he's
so
one
nice.
of my favorite chefs in LA. I'm not gonna lie. He's amazing.
He's a sweetheart.
He's amazing.
There's something really like what Nancy said about the other guy that he had a warm soul. He is like he looks like a very giving person. Like he's fully in with somebody. I like that. I don't know. I just like it.
No, it's true. When you have a conversation with him, he really is just he focuses on what you're saying. Like, he's so involved in the conversation.
Yeah, he's a ball
which is hard to find
like
in a
most
chef.
chefs.
Yeah.
But he's talented.
Most chefs are like ego son. Yeah.
And also we find out about the Brenda pour, which is for wine, it's one knuckle from infinity. I like that a lot actually. I was like, that's how it is.
It's all about making drinking easier. Like, who wants to keep going to the fridge, like filling up, going back to the bar,
fill that shit up. Let's go.
Yeah, like. Then you're good for let's not waste any time. 10 minutes.
And then of course Kat introduces you to Hal, who is very attractive.
Was that the French guy?
No, the French guy. The other guy. Yeah.
The what?
What?
Wait, so Hal basically, I think he's on like a Nickelodeon show or something. So Hal was like an actor who who apparently found Kat. Out of all the women at the food festival, he found Kat. And then the other guy you see on camera, here's a little inside scoop, is a porn star.
Which we did not know.
We did not know at the time, but I found out.
The one with like the greasy hair?
The one that's his private chef?
Yeah.
He did a stint on some cooking show, because I guess he is a chef too. But we found out who he is, and he's a porn star.
Remember that?
And then you watched it.
Because she had given him her number first.
Yeah.
They swapped contact info first, and then we found out.
Yeah.
he was in like the dirty business.
The Scoop. All right.
It was so
Okay.
funny.
And of course, we see Miss Brenda meet up with Chris again. And that was so cute. He like gave you a little kiss on the neck, and I was like, all right.
My friends don't kiss me on my guy friends don't kiss me on my neck.
Yeah,
just saying.
That was really cute.
Maybe he just wanted to smell me again.
Yeah, I wonder why.
What I would like to know is, are all, because we saw in the first episode too, I forget the chef's name, Arroyo, right?
Steven.
Steven, yeah.
He was a huge flirt at the table, and now we see Chris, and I feel like this is the trend. And Waylyn's the first to be like, chefs are bad
They're
boys.
dogs, yeah.
Well, that's what I was saying before, 100%. They literally, you know, they all cook and do all the restaurants or this for a living, and people in this industry, they don't know the difference. Sometimes it's very blurred between business and personal, so they'll treat, you know, all these people in the same industry as like women.
And like the food is just like a sensual thing to begin with. So these guys are cooking with their hands all day, and well, you're not eating at the right restaurants.
I find the sexy is not. I think of like health department codes. Like I don't think of like, you know, like that is dirty if that's going on in the kitchen.
Really? I feel like I should be telling my boyfriend to watch. I'm like, this is what you need to be cooking me.
Yeah, exactly.
Keep it in the kitchen.
And then speaking of Chris, Kat goes to visit Chris at the Viceroy, and
Business.
yes, complete business, of course. Because she discovered him, I'm sure. And
Another thank you card.
She brings up Brenda. She brings up you, and she says, she was like, "Oh, so I heard you two have had drinks," and he was like, "Oh, we're just friends." I mean, what did you think about his answer first, and then we'll get into what do you think about her question?
Do you think she was trying to get like the scoop on
That's
you?
what I'm trying to think.
Yeah.
Well, there was no news story coming out of the Viceroy. Let's just say that. Like, what's happening at the Viceroy that she needed to,
but she was so inquisitive about it. Like, why does she care? Wouldn't she ask you? Did she ask you?
About the Viceroy?
No, about you and Chris Crary. Wouldn't she be like? Wouldn't you be the person she would go to since
when
you're
that
closer
comes
with
out,
her?
and you'll see it comes out next week that we have a little discussion. But but yeah, I mean Chris and I are friends. I think it's a little shady that he would have drinks with her too, frankly. Like,
Yeah.
Attacking.
Like
He's getting his camera time this
but
season.
you saw it. Like he was asking me about her, so like obviously like we know where his interests lie, like, but you know, and then she doesn't have interest in him, yet she still goes to like meet him for business. I don't
But
get the
my
whole
question is, so with these questions that come out, are there ever times where producers ask you to just say a certain thing or make the moment awkward?
No.
I really.
Our awkwardness is our own.
I was gonna say, like, I don't know if it's because of its casting or like how it worked out, but like, really everything that went down is legit exactly how it went. Now, of course, they like.
We go to dinners. Like they'll be like, "Oh, you're having dinner with the girls tonight. Great." Like you know,
I mean,
because you notice, like, I mean, what girl goes to dinner with 4 girls that she may not like? Like, you know, I mean. You know,
you gotta be together.
Dinners are set up, but like everything that they don't be like, okay, now you're gonna fight with her about this, or like.
And there were never words planted anywhere, not even a thought of like.
I see a lot of stuff on Twitter that's like, oh, you know, when I asked Nina like, what do you think of Kat, and then someone was like, oh, scripted, and I was like, no, that's not scripted.
Same when I was in the bathroom with Kat, and I was like, damage control.
I was like, to ask a question.
I don't even know my name at that point.
I love it. So I want to wrap up the discussion of the episode. I think that ends because Kat gets called out by Waylynn. We discussed that earlier, but I want to get in some questions for y'all because I want to know some more about y'all. But first, go to iTunes, give us a little good rating, and if you're watching on YouTube, thank you so much. Keep watching. You keep our lights on. All right, so here's one of the questions.
That's cute.
Here we go. Rebecca Shibley, she tweeted and she said, "Do you feel like you're being portrayed correctly on the show?"
I don't think that's a fair question since there's been 2 episodes.
I think
so far.
Yeah, I think actually this episode definitely is better than the first one. I'm not a drunken birthday party girl all the time, believe it or not. Like people actually see that like I have a job, so I think this episode more even than the first one shows like what I do.
Yeah, and I think I'm glad people see that I do have a sense of humor and I'm not like a crazy person all the time. Like don't get me wrong, I do put my foot down a lot more than the lighter moments so far, but I think you'll see
you see more fun.
I think as the episodes will unravel, you'll get to see bits and pieces more of us, so it's kind of hard to just... That's what's hard for me, at least, when all these people are saying stuff like they know you and like, oh, that's that girl. I can see that's who she's going to be. It's like, no, you don't know me at all.
Yeah, but I mean, so far...
But so far, absolutely, 100%.
That's awesome. And Jonathan Lanzana, who is one of our favorite fans, TV Genius, that's his Twitter, boop. And he said, were you ever worried that the show, while raising your profiles, could also damage your reputation?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. I mean,
that's a huge concern.
Even before, there was such buzz in LA, like, oh, like, especially because I work with food media, like, all the food media were like, who's on the show? What's it gonna be? And, you know, like, yeah, we're not, you know, there's a lot of food media that are like, that's not the journalist that represents us, or, you know, what publicist, you know, in the preview you see me be like, oh, what publicist, I'm gonna ruin you. Like, you'll understand why I say that. And I was mad. You know, I don't go around threatening people's careers.
That's like the sizzle, though.
Yeah, like, I was pissed. So, you know, but like,
no, and I think I can't speak for the other girls, but I know for myself at least, there are some things that, you know, you're close with people in the industry and they kind of alienate you if they don't want to go down that reality road. But now that people are seeing, and I think number one, our saving grace is, and what I was worried about is, you see Top Chef and you see these shows on Food Network that are about the food, and they have these diehard fans, these diehard foodie fans, and they typically would think, oh, they don't like the drama, they're not the Real Housewives market, they're not this, they're not that. But the market that does like the drama is that. We're thinking, I was afraid of alienating both of those audiences by having a mixture of the two, but it was so important for me to have a show that, number one, was shot this beautifully to make the food and LA look really pretty, that it also is, there's a reason why you don't see drama and personal lives on all the Food Network shows. It's because chefs don't want to open up their personal lives. So, you know, it's not just because that's the format of the show, it's because no chef or food person will ever let you behind the scenes.
Yeah.
You know, so I think.
And I also like it because I think reality shows, they were such, I mean, I feel like some of them are on the decline. And I think that a lot of people were saying, I want to be on a reality show, but I think this is showing people with actual occupations that people could aspire to. And
people
I think
want to be a reality star as their job.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it's easy. You just get to be yourself.
We all can talk about.
And also, I want to know this: how has the dynamic changed since filming the show?
Oh, it's rough. Yeah, like it's definitely changed my relationship with Kat, number one. I mean, you saw in the first episode, she's like, Brenda and I are really good friends, and we were friends. You know, I just think it's hard because she lives in this happy bubble of like, I'm Kat O'Dell, and you know, I think it's important not just from what I say, but like other people's perception. Like watching her on TV, and she's like getting her makeup done while we're all running around. Like other people are seeing like, you know, what maybe, you know, I'm saying. So I like, she's, you know, she needs someone to maybe point a finger at, but it's, you know, it's a shame. I mean,
did you ever call her out before the show?
No, because I only deal with her with work, you know?
Oh, before filming, you mean?
Yeah, like I only dealt with her for work. So I'd go to dinner with her, we'd talk about boys, we'd eat some food, and then it would be like a done deal. She would write a story about it. You know, like my client's happy. But I think, you know, now, you know, I feel like I have to explain myself because she, I think, thought of our relationship differently. Like,
but you guys were never sitting together, and then she would talk about like these guys, and I'm sure at some point you're like, hey, listen, like pay more attention to my chef, to my restaurant, to this menu. You never were like wanting to call her out or be like,
I don't know if I did. I mean, it's just, but that was just like our relationship.
Well,
it was like very like.
But even
surfacey.
like when we stopped filming, she didn't go back to not calling her out or anything. Like once we had started filming and we started to see each other a lot, like you called her out on stuff even when the cameras weren't around, or if they were, it didn't really matter. I felt like if there was something that you felt like you needed to say, you would say it.
It's just not important enough to me to like
make a big deal about
it. To, you know, like she is who she is, you know, she would like to talk about boys a lot, but it's like at the end of the day, like she would cover my clients and I would go home and, you know, it's fine. Like I didn't, you know, Kat, you really, you know, you cock block me a lot, Kat. Like, like it's not important, you know, and it's unfortunate that like maybe I did that to her in the first episode, but like, you know, payback's a bitch, I guess.
And I think that there's some more drama to come, and I can't wait for that. So let's get into some predictions. Music.
And now,
That's awesome.
Cassidy, go first.
I feel like someone should wear have a ball in front of them. Like
okay, I really predict that Nina will get her own restaurant. I think sometime in the next, this will be her year for that to happen.
Cool.
I predict that Kat covers one of Brenda's restaurants and does an awful job and portrays something incorrectly, and Brenda's like, I'm a publicist, I could ruin you.
I'm going to predict that something happens between Jessica and Waylynn.
Ooh. I predict that maybe Jessica will have a problem with Kat in the end. We'll see. We'll see. But guys, thank you so much for watching, and we're so happy that these two lovely ladies came and visited us because it cleared up so many things for us. On Twitter, you can find me at Jake_DuPree and on Instagram at Jake DuPree.
I'm Fahnia Thomas, and you can find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Fahnia Thomas.
I'm Kristina Zias, and you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Miss Zias.
I'm Cassidy Gard, and I'm at Cassidy Gard, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Jessica, where can we find you?
Just LA.
And Brenda?
Ms. Brenda Urban.
Ooh, Miss. Thank you guys for watching. See you next week.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.